Hi there, welcome to a palette drop game review. This game is called Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance, and it's peak Megaten. I took my time before starting this game, but once I finished the first few hours of the game, I was hooked. I feel like games like this are better enjoyed when you have a large amount of free time to dedicate to it. This game takes what vanilla SMTV had and added sprinkles, chocolate syrup, and even a cherry. They added on to what they had perfectly, in my opinion. Let me get straight into the new things that I feel truly evolve not only SMTV but potentially Megaten in general. First off, our cast of main characters being Tao, Yuzuru, Gazai, Miyazu, and the Nahobino are joined by Yoko Hiramine. Yoko appears for the first time in the first section of Dot, which is a post-apocalyptic Japan. And her design is already cool enough, but when you combine her voice actor, her animations, and personality, it is truly a fresh version of the Atlas New Girl. She's mysterious and only joins us because our goals line up. And don't forget to mention her moveset is great, and she's extremely helpful against bosses. She has access to all of your items, which is helpful because your demons cannot access that in the very early parts of the game. This brings up another good point. In this version of SMTV, you get to have your human allies fight alongside you in different parts of the story. I loved having all of my human allies on my team when available. Only thing that could have made this better is if Shuhei Yakuma had been playable. I really find him intriguing, and I would have loved to use his moveset on enemies, or even potentially brought him with us throughout the rest of the game. But back into the new characters though. Let's talk about the Kadishtu, 4 female demons from the Zohar, which is a spiritual text of Jewish mystical thought. You have Nama, Esef, Agrat, and Lilith. These 4 ladies shake up the story perfectly. Their goal is to, let me think about this. Basically, their goal is to take vengeance on the Dragon Slayer god who defeated Tiamat way back then, and they want to sacrifice him to resurrect Tiamat, who is a primordial goddess of Babylonian mythology. Lilith feels more like their leader, but that doesn't stop the others from shining. You have to fight them separately as the story progresses. They perfectly used the Kadishtu to make the original story even better. Notably, when Nama and Gladius Labolas, which is like this really cool, I'll show a picture of him, really cool dog-looking beast with a really insane-looking mask on. We fight them at the train station, and then we also have the moment where Iseth abducts Miyazu when all the stuff's going on with the humans getting kidnapped by the demons and stuff, and they raided the school. Those were big moments for me. And Iseth kidnapping Yuzuru's sister Miyazu is important because Miyazu's side plot was limited to being a side quest after saving her in the original game. Instead, she gets to have the spotlight along with Bethel Egypt playing a bigger part in the role of the story. Another addition to the cast of villains is the Archangel Mastema. I very much enjoyed his involvement in the main plot of the story. He's not a villain because he's evil, but he's a villain because his methods are very extreme, and he's not afraid to affect millions of lives in order to basically fulfill the way of his lord. And to fight against the Kadishtu, because he wants to stop them from getting their Magatsuhi to resurrect Tiamat, and he basically decides that the best way to do that is to turn all the humans in the real world and even in the fairy world, or whatever you want to call that, like where they were taking shelter, he turns all of them into stone in order to combat the Kadishtu, you know? And I mean, it's like, he didn't really have a bad intent, but he also, you know, was willing to do something very bad and very extreme that affected innocent people in order to stop the main threat. But at the same time, he is like he feels more like a chaotic law representation, if that makes sense. Like, and it's a bit weird to say that because that can get misinterpreted, but that's the vibes I really get from him. It's very cool in my opinion, and I love that his wings are black just like a crow's. And the thing that's really cool about him doing that with the stone is that it was very surprising and mysterious. And at first you suspect the Kadishtu, but it was just Mastema. And that is a really cool surprise. And when you finally meet him and you realize that, it is, I don't really know how to describe it. It makes you think like, man, is there really any good side here? But anyway, what I love about Vengeance is I can't really compare it to another Megaten game. Bear with me. Unlike Vanilla, that felt like it took a decent amount of inspiration from Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, of course being very different but sharing a few parallels. For example, in Nocturne was about you and your classmates being thrown into the Vortex world and their ideologies / experiences in the post-apocalyptic setting shaping their philosophies into reasons, which allowed them to ascend to pretty much godhood, and, you know, try to create the world in their vision. In Vanilla SMT, the Nahobino are fighting for the throne to essentially do the same thing, shape the world in their own vision. Vengeance takes the race for the throne and puts a nice spin on it. With you losing Aogami, who made you a Nahobino, Yuzuru dying, Nua getting killed by Tiamat, and Dazai being killed. Changing it from a race to godhood to a blood-stained carpet leading to the throne. In my playthrough, I sided with this game's Chaos rep, Yoko Hiramine. She doesn't simply wish for a only the strongest survive type of world that most people think that Chaos represents. She rejects the idea of being ruled by one god. She believes humanity will never truly be happy under a broken system from a god who controls everything. Every version of the world before becomes darkness and vanishes in this ending. The throne and the Empyrean included, so the world will never be reborn again. It's a world that she says is desired by all those who have ever known suffering. I love this ending, considering I got the worst ending possible in the first SMTV. I would have probably been fine with anything, but this left me very satisfied. SMTV left me unsatisfied in the vanilla version because I got the worst ending possible that didn't even let me fight the super boss Lucifer at the end. A chaos ending that doesn't feel chaotic, and I mean that in the best way possible, is very nice and refreshing. To wrap things up, there's a lot more I could say if we consider the changes to battle mechanics and the new demons, but I would really like to dedicate a separate video to that. So please support this video if you liked it, and thank you for watching to the end. Yeah, if you want more SMT content, let's try to get this to 5 likes. Thank you very much for giving your attention to this video, and have a great day, night, whatever you might be experiencing. Goodbye.